Before we get too far into this, I want to remind you that just now as we're gathered here, 500,000 acres is underwater in the Yazoo Delta. I just spoke to Colonel Greg Michelle, head of MEMA, Mississippi Emergency Management. And I can tell you one of the things that we've been working with from the President of the United States to EPA to FEMA is to finish the pumps. You see, if we can get that done, it should have been done long ago. We can bring that Yazoo backwater down 4 to 5 feet. Could have saved hundreds and hundreds of homes. There's over 650 homes underwater just now. Your fellow Mississippians are suffering there in our beloved Mississippi Delta. So I want you to do a couple of things. I want you to pray for them. I want to let you know we're doing all that we can do. We're pushing forward homeowners assistance. Almost $750,000 has gone out already. The President has declared a disaster, a presidential disaster in 42 counties in the state of Mississippi. So he's doing all that he can do. And let me just remind you, Donald Trump has been to the state of Mississippi on 5 different occasions. Every time I see him, he reminds me he loves Mississippi. Mr. President, so do I. So as we think about and reflect on what's going on in the Mississippi Delta as we celebrate today, this wonderful fair, as we listen to those that are seeking higher office, as I am reminded that I am not running for office now or ever again. I want to thank all of you that have helped over the years when I've been here and asked for your vote and for your support. When I came and told you we were going to do remarkable things, that Mississippi could rise above the national narrative of what many believe that we could or could not do. I'm so excited to hear from Tate Reeves today. Tate, great job on that speech. Great job. Proud of that young man. He and I have been there when the times were tough, when we had to balance budgets, when we had to cut budgets, we had to go out and tell people we just couldn't get you everything that you wanted. We said we're going to give money back to the taxpayers, and oh my goodness, there were folks gnashing of teeth. You would be surprised at how many people don't want you to have some of your money back. Tate and I believe it is your money. Every dollar we take from government services, we have to get out of your pocket or out of your tax payments. So we're very careful with it. We came up here and told everyone if you'd give us a chance that Mississippi would work, we'd put people to work. You know what I always like to say? I want every Mississippian to have a job, and I modified that a little bit, even if they don't want one. I've got 43,000 job openings in the state of Mississippi after helping create, with the private sector, 85,000 new jobs. That's more jobs than any time in Mississippi's history. We're putting people to work. Now, how do we do that? Well, we start with education. We actually start in child care. My daughter's here, Katie's somewhere. My son-in-law was here, but he had to go to work support my grandchildren. I said, good. She's over there next to the best first lady in the United States of America. Deborah, you're over there somewhere, baby. Raise your hand. There you are. The first lady of the great state of Mississippi. I can tell you, I don't know of anyone, and we've had some great first ladies. But I can tell you, I don't know of any of them that have worked any harder, that have done more for people, that have felt in her heart the challenges that our families are going through and reaching out to them, whether it's palliative care children, whether it's those children at Blair Batson, whether it's reading in a classroom in every county in the state of Mississippi, where it's helping constantly push forward our young folks to greatness. That's been the First Lady. And on occasion, I even take advice from her, like every day. So we started in child care, and we looked at what was going on there, and that's where the areas where children are really learning. You know, we find out that, as I saw my grandchildren learn, that we have to do more there. So we've got child care academies now. We're taking those young women in those child care centers that are keeping our children, putting them in a community college and teaching them a curriculum. So those young children will learn. They'll be ready for that pre-K program that we're extending across the state of Mississippi, the Lieutenant Governor's Collaborative Program. We can get to them young, teach them to read, get them prepared for that third grade challenge. When I came into office, 48% of the children in this state could read on a third grade level. 48%. Said that was unacceptable. Educational systems in this state, they were working hard. Teachers working hard, parents working hard, principals, superintendents, but somewhere we were failing. We had to say that we're going to put more funding, hundreds of millions of dollars into reading coaches so that they could not teach the children to read, but teach the teachers how to teach the children. Make sure we had that reading science curriculum where it needed to be. 48% of the third graders could only read at a third grade level, and they were being socially promoted to the fourth grade, and then they were beginning to fail their math and science in the seventh, and then they were dropping out of high school. See, the dropout rate or the graduation rate, dropout was about 30%. Graduation rate was only 70%. So once we started teaching our children to read, once they realized that they could achieve, they did better. Today in the state of Mississippi, 85% of our high school students are graduating from high school, the largest number ever. If I got up here 8 years ago and said, I'm going to create 85,000 jobs, I'm going to help the private sector do that. We're going to, the graduation rate's going to go up 15 percentage points to 85%. Y'all would have said, bless his heart. We just can't do all of that. Well, we've done that and more. Lieutenant Governor talked about it, teacher pay raise, $170 million in teacher pay raises in the first 8 years of this administration. That's a good start. It will get better. And the reason it will get better is because we got more money coming into the treasury than any time in Mississippi's history. Then we looked at our colleges and said, y'all just settle down, I got a lot to go over. We looked at our colleges and said, we've got a lot of students that started college, they borrowed a lot of money, and then they had to drop out. Life was tough on them, and they just couldn't finish. So we started a program that said, you can come back to college. If you got those collegiate hours, bring them back to us, and we'll see if we can't get you a degree. Maybe you have to go back for just a short period of time. They came back, and now we've got more than 1,200 new college graduates that thought they had failed. We can achieve at a national level our graduates in our universities if we continue to compete. We talked about jobs, 5% unemployment. Yeah, let me get this straight. Now, you have people that say, oh, well, it's seasonally adjusted, unseasonally adjusted. You can use any figure that you want to do. I used to say when I was auditor that, liars figure and figures can lie. So you got to be careful of what you're looking at there. But 5% unemployment for 23 straight months. I remember the time people thought you couldn't reach 5% unemployment in the state of Mississippi. When I came in, it was 9.4%. We've almost cut it in half. The number of unemployed people in the state of Mississippi has been reduced by half. Listen to what I'm telling you. These are remarkable numbers that the people of the great state of Mississippi have worked hard to achieve. Half of them, 85,000, gone back to work. Now, what does that do for unemployment payments? We pay people when you get out of work, when you're down on your luck. My dad used to say, we need to make sure that you have some income, so unemployment payments. We'll give that to you, and while we're working hard to make sure you find a job, those unemployment payments have been cut in half. They have been reduced by $125 million. That's money that we can now spend in workforce training. So with the Lieutenant Governor's help and the Speaker of the House, we put that into the Mississippi Works Fund. I can take $50 million a year and go out and train people how to work. SNAP program, food stamps. We looked at SNAP program and they said, you've got to ask the President of the United States for a waiver to get rid of the workforce training requirement. I said, I'm not going to do that. And he doesn't want to do it. We're going to make sure if you're getting food stamps in the state of Mississippi, you're learning to work. I want you to get a job. I want you to go to school. I want you to live the American dream. When we put the workforce training requirement in place, there's been 165 less recipients on our SNAP program, 165,000 less on the SNAP program. We believe those folks are going to work. We believe they're in school, they're in college, they're finding a job. I'm so proud of the economic development in the state of Mississippi. We work on it every day. I tell people, I'm a salesman. I work on commission. We travel the world bringing businesses, companies, manufacturers in here. I can't wait this October to open up Continental Tire just outside of Clinton, Mississippi. 2,500 employees, $1.2 billion investment. I was in Germany not long ago speaking to the CEO of Continental Tire. They said, we can't wait to come to Mississippi. Every state in America wanted Continental Tire just like they wanted Yokohama Tire. And we took it away from them. They're coming to Mississippi time and time and time again. We're expanding every day. I just saw a beautiful photograph of one of the ships built at Ingalls. You know, I love the Mississippi Gulf Coast. When y'all leave here, go down there. It's beautiful, more beautiful than ever. Is that right? It is gorgeous. See, after Katrina, we went to work. We finished the Port of Gulfport. Just now, HUD has signed off and said that's the last largest Katrina project that we will fund. It is done. The port is open. $570 million your money was invested. We believe it is one of the best ports along the Gulf. Anywhere in the great Gulf of Mexico, you will hear about the Port of Gulfport. At the other end, as we talk about Ingalls, 70% of the Navy's warships that sail today were made in Pascagoula, Mississippi. Imagine that, 70% of the Navy's warship. Go to the other end of the Mississippi Gulf Coast at our Stennis Space Center. We just got word the other day that NASA is going to begin testing the deep space probes there, the engines that will put man on Mars. Once again, man's going to go to Mars. I've said this before, return safely to Earth, but he's going to have to pass through Hancock County to get there. We're putting people in outer space. So when I hear these folks come up and say, oh, Mississippi, we can do better. Oh, yeah, everybody can, and we will. We will. But you see, we had to get started. We had to look at what Mississippi was and what it can become. And then there's always those folks that says, well, you know, Alabama and Tennessee, they're doing better than us. Well, you go talk to their governors, because I do. They're worried about Mississippi. They said we used to not have to worry about Mississippi because we could always win a project in Mississippi. And then all of a sudden we looked at area development awards. Mississippi had never won a silver shovel. I know some folks like to draw cartoons of that. I like to hang them in my office. I like to show them off to people when they come in. Bodacious about them silver shovels. So we won 6 silver shovels and 2 gold. We never won a silver, we won 2 gold shovels. 2017, 2019. If I'd have sat here 8 years ago and told you we're going to do all that, and then we're going to have a special session. We're going to make sure that the infrastructure in the state of Mississippi is modernized. We're going to put $1.1 billion in there without raising your gasoline taxes. I don't know about you, but I don't want to pay more for gasoline. Not if I can find a way to get there. $1.1 billion added to the $1 billion we already put in there. And the federal government, recently, Secretary Chow, my new best friend, put another $90 million of federal grants into our infrastructure in the state of Mississippi. State Aid Road will see the first payment of over $400,000 on August the 1st. They are receiving that money just now from the work that we did in the special session of August in 2016. I have been around a lot. I will tell you that was the most successful historic special session in Mississippi's history. We're going to continue to make sure that we grow this economy. Why? Well, let's look a little bit at the budget. I heard the Lieutenant Governor talk about it earlier, and I'm going to talk about it again. You may have missed it. Now, would you think we've got more money coming in or less? Think about this. I've cut taxes 52 times since I've been governor. 52 tax cuts. I try to give your money back to it. I've even cut taxes on corporations. I'm going to say it. And I'll do it again before I leave if I get a chance. 52 times we've cut taxes. You've heard it. Oh my goodness, that corporate welfare. No wonder we can't fix roads. No wonder we can't do that. We're just out of money. We're broke. This year, Into the fiscal year, we'll have $310 million more dollars than was projected. $310 million more than we even thought. In the month of July alone, I just saw the commissioner, Herb Frierson. He handed me the spreadsheet. We were looking at it behind the cabin here. In just the month of July, we're going to be over $23 million more than we projected in 1 month. No, wait, that can't be happening. Oh, no, we can do better. Yeah, we can do better. Well, I do better than sales tax going up 2.65%. Do better than individual income tax, almost 4%. And corporate income tax, you know, all those corporate, tax cuts we gave, that means we're not going to collect anything in corporations, right? Corporate taxes are up 12.4% in the state of Mississippi. 12.4%. If I told you that 8 years ago, they would have said, there he goes again. Gaming tax up 5.2%. I'm going to say sports betting may have something to do with that. All this money's pouring in, and we hadn't even scratched off the first ticket of a state lottery yet. Wait till that money hit. See, we used to lose $40 million a year to Louisiana and Arkansas. I got tired of that. We're going to have a state lottery right here. We're going to keep that money. I hope we even get a few folks from Alabama coming over here to buy. We'll sell them a lottery ticket because all of that money is going to go to roads and infrastructure. Now we save money also. I told you about food stamps earlier. They said, well, how in the world can y'all do all that? Commissioner, you know how tough it is. We work lean. We work into the night. We work on weekends. We have to, because we found out that we have got 4,700 less government employees than they did the day I took office. 4,700 less. You can reduce government. People are retiring. We don't fill those positions. Well, what'd that do? That saved us $24 million a year. Over that 8 years, $24 million. What can I do with that? Well, I'd invest it in infrastructure. I'd invest in teacher pay raise. I'd put it in health care. Public safety commissioners here. We've had 3 trooper schools. More than any time in Mississippi history. 3 trooper schools. Got 149 more troopers. We're fighting human trafficking. Opioid overdose deaths are down 13%. 13% in 1 year. That's because we've got 22% less opioids being prescribed. Thank you to the pharmacists and to the doctor. I'm about to finish. There's a lot of good stuff here. Tourism. People come visit Mississippi. Oh, well, yes, they do. About 24.7 million people came to visit Mississippi, the most ever in Mississippi's history. They brought $6.51 billion with them, and they support 89,000 jobs. Tourism is big in Mississippi. A bunch of our visitors are right here in Neshoba County this weekend. 300,000 of them have gone to the History and Civil Rights Museum, opened by the President of the United States on the 9th of December in 2017. 300,000. That's because, and it is the best in the nation. Prison reform. I'm an old law enforcement officer. I've never been soft on crime, but I know there are people in jail that need to be in jail, and there's people there that we're just mad at. So I want to take those nonviolent offenders and get them back to work. A reentry program we started in 2014 with the great help of the Mississippi legislature. Our prison population is down 11%, and we've saved $43 million. I was called by the President of the United States to come to Washington, D.C. to help draft the First Step Act. I'm very proud that this president has moved forward and done something no president has ever done. He has reformed the federal criminal justice system. Those that are nonviolent and can seek a better way have an opportunity to re-enter society, get a job, and live the American dream. Child protection services. I'm about to wrap it up. I've been worried about our foster children since the first day. Sometimes we just didn't do a very good job of those children that are lost in society, that were neglected and abused. It ought to be our first priority. Our number one thing that we worry about is those innocent children. Child Protection Services started out with 6,100 foster children. We're down to 5,000. To show you how we did that, we put a lot of them back in the home after finding out what that problem was and trying to fix it. And then we doubled the number of adoptions. This is so important. Double the number of adoptions in Mississippi. 657 children this fiscal year have a forever home. If I did nothing as governor, if Deborah and I had failed, and I was only able to help do this, I'd be satisfied. Those 687 children that will have a forever home. Health care. You know, I found out that they've got a new medical school at the University of Mississippi. It's bright and beautiful. And it's filled with new doctors, about 160 of them, more than ever before going to medical school in the state of Mississippi. I know we've got a new medical city at Traditions in Harrison County. We've got a medical corridor in Jackson that's growing every day. We've got health care zones, a dozen of them across the state of Mississippi. We see better outcomes in health care, but it's been a tough battle because I can't fix you if you want to be unhealthy. I can't make you exercise. I can't make you eat right. I can't make you do all of those things. Government can't do everything. What I can do is provide access to quality health care, and that's what we're doing. We've had some good outcomes. I talked about it the first time I was here. Teen pregnancy. Teen pregnancy was high in the state of Mississippi. We were leading the nation. We did a better job of impregnating teenage girls than anybody else in America. We did something about that. Teenage pregnancy has declined 41% in the state of Mississippi. 41%. I'm going to get out of here. Now, I got them fact checking all of that. They're going to be busy for a while. Oh, yeah, they got to fact check every bit of it, you know. Because they've got to somehow convince you that things aren't good in Mississippi. You know, the naysayers always are there. Doesn't matter if you've got a company or a football team or if you're governor. Kind of reminds me of the old gentleman that's sitting on the front porch, and a guy came by running for office, and he said, you know, I'm here for change. And the old gentleman said, yeah, there's been a lot of changes around here in the last 50 years, and I've been against every one of them. Some folks just against every one of them. But it's not going to stop us. It's not going to slow us down. We got more work to do. I'm going to slide into home. I'm going to run through the tape. We're going to finish strong in this administration. We're going to pass the torch to a new generation of leadership. Stronger, more determined, better jobs, better education, better opportunity for all our citizens. Thank you all for helping me. Deborah and I want to thank you for the 8 wonderful years. The greatest job in America is being president of the greatest nation, or the greatest state in this greatest nation on earth. Greatest state, Mississippi. Thank you for giving us this opportunity. God bless every one of you. God bless our beloved Mississippi, and God bless the United States of America. Thank you all.